From making money to spending it wisely, managing finances can be a challenge. This organization simplifies financial know-how through comic strips meant to catch the attention of millennials. Let's speak now to Simple Sums' Nicole Ng, joining us now from Singapore. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. Why was the Simple Sum created?
Well, that's a good question, Rico. So when it comes to finance, I think there's a lot of information already out there for people to consume and know about personal finance, right? But for the young person, I think it can be quite challenging because there's a lot of jargon and complex concepts to kind of digest. And so it can be quite overwhelming for them to really go out there and they may not even know where to start reading. So what we really try to do at the Simple Sum is we want to make it very approachable, make it easy to understand and make it digestible. And one way we do that is to make personal finance relatable, entertaining and humorous. And we use a very visual and storytelling approach because we feel that that's a way that can actually tell a story and be able to make the concept more digestible to people.
And I went through your website, Nicole, and you make readers really understand various types of personal finance issues using comic strips and a lot of just short key words that really hit home. Has this really helped?
Yes, it has really helped. We've got a lot of people who message in to us and tell us in the comment section that they find the content very relatable. They resonate with the content. Some of them even actually tell us that once they actually understand those concepts, which they didn't understand before until we actually broke it down for them, they were able to apply that in their own personal finance and in their own lives as well. So we do see it as an effective tool that reaches out to the young audience out there.
And Simple Sum is already in 5 countries. You have expanded not only in Singapore, Malaysia, but also Brunei, the Philippines, and Indonesia. You know, I mean, countries have different cultures and different languages, but what they really have in common is basically managing their money.
Yeah. As rightly pointed out, right? So we first started in Singapore and we slowly grew over time because we had people who come onto our account and actually tell us that they actually like our content and they find it something that's actually a need in their countries as well, which is why we expanded to the other countries in the region where we also saw the need for personal finance education. And one of those countries is the Philippines. As the country. So the countries that we're in, we saw a greater need for personal finance and being able to reach out to young people through social media because all of us are on social media nowadays, right? And being able to serve them the content there is a good way to reach out to them.
And I took a look at one of your categories, which is personal finance. And under that, you have subcategories like budgeting, managing debt, and financial planning. And you really have very catchy headlines, like how not to regret your purchases. Should you lend your money to your friend? Having a credit card is not a license to spend, and having no boundaries is keeping you poor. So it's very catchy, and you relate this with comic strips, and you try to reach out to not only millennials, but also to a wider audience.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the key things when we first started out was to think about how are some of the ways that we can make it very relatable and easy to understand for the everyday person, not just the young person, right? And one of the areas that we actually kind of expanded on is the creative ways that we approach specific concepts in personal finance. And that could be, using things like inside jokes or pop cultural references and even relating it to your everyday life because personal finance affects every decision that you make in life, in your relationships, in your family, and even in your work. So we find those areas where money is affecting your life and also talk about those things, which we think that it's not really addressed that much with a lot of the bigger information that you get out there with other personal finance publications or platforms. Yeah.
And of course, when you invest your own cash, it's not very easy as well, letting it go. But you also tackle here buying stocks, and you make it very simple for a lot of first-timers. I want to double your money, here's how long it will take, and then my stocks are falling, what should I do? So it's really important to reach a wider audience, especially when it is a very complex and sophisticated type of investment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the things is that we want to get people who are not interested in personal finance or have never thought about their personal finance to start being interested in it. And the comics are one way to inspire them to start thinking about what are they actually doing with their money, and instead of just leaving it in the bank account, or are they even saving money in the first place to be able to invest later on down the line. So a lot of people do not think about these things. Surprisingly, a lot of people do not think about these things. And as you're scrolling through social media and getting this bite-sized information, what we hope to inspire in people is that curiosity and the want to know about, you know, how to be better in their personal finance and build a better financial future for themselves.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word and explaining to us the simple sum. Head of Learning, Nicole Ang, joining us from Singapore.